I asked with Ndlovukazi. I started with Ndlovukazi. Ndiyaphotisa kuwe chairperson. Sihlalo esibalulekileyo kakhulu ndiyabulela. Minister, your presentation was focused on road and rail, nothing about the maritime sector. And that is a very strategic sector. Why is that so? Are there any projects that are happening in the ocean? Thank you. That was sweet, short to the point. Honorable Peter.
Mangbonge sihlalo wendlu ebekekile. Umbuzo wami uya ku Minister ubaba uDeputy Minister ubaba uZekalala. Baba uZekalala njengoko mention some of the few challenges that faces your own department. I will add some few also as well. Our post office is vandalized from Mhlekazi. Amaholo aya vandalized, everything. Zonke izinto nje esiba usitsho. Now, umbuzo wami is simple, Mhlekazi. As your department are facing so many challenges, as a minister, what is your way forward? Sikhohlwe Mhlekazi kumane sibaliselo into yoba kukho ezi challenges. Now sinibekile ningo-minister, niza nantoni kuthi 80, nango 1, nango 2, nango 3. Thank you.
Enkosi siyabulela. Honorable Makesini.
Thanks, Chairperson. Let me start with the Deputy Minister of Public Works and appreciate the honesty of presentation yabo. And what makes me happy, yes, and I agree, kuna problem here construction mafia. But kukho le engakebizwe ngegama kakhulu pollution ababantu abathengisa material ababloka abantu bakuthi xa bengena construction i-prices ingafani, as they've identified them ukuthi i-price xa kusebenzelwa u-government is not the same with the private sector. Why are we not blacklisting such people? Because ngabo abavalela i-progress yokuba i-project zingaqhubekeki. For example, Chairperson, we went to Northern Cape last year. Abantu base Northern Cape, they are forced to bahambe bayothenga material e-Western Cape. The delivery process iba yi-progress babhatala kakhulu kuyenza apha iba i-budget ebebudgetelwe i-company i-progress ibe delay because ba-end up ba-abandona i-project because imali yokuthi bebe-quote i-department for this project ba-end up bangakwazi udeliver because of this challenges ezikhona because the Northern Cape there's no places ezinkulu ezithengisa material. 2, the Minister of Human Settlement, Dibonile, there are 21 projects that were blocked, but kuna project that I think earlier and can discuss now that are not part of the 21. The Dark City project in Mangaung, apho benisenza i-CRU houses. That project has been abandoned for more than, I believe it's not affected by COVID 2019. Yesterday we went to that project. Izinto besenizifakile nezitova zisekho. There is no security. I think the Department, the Human Settlement, the Free State Minister, they must give you a detailed report on this 3 projects so that we get a progress report. What is the challenges of these projects? I said that city, as E2, as Mileo that are not moving, including the G Hostel project in Velcom in Machabe. Then the last issue, Mama or Baba Chris, uthethe issue yokuthi regularly wabadila nge-global supplier, they do go to overseas bayodibana ne-suppliers. Niela, on behalf of the construction, or do you do in-house project so that when you're overseas, you're deploying a supplier? Who do you represent? Do you represent a supplier as the services nani good department roads then regularly overseas irregularity ithetha ukuthini? How much are you spending to this overseas trip niyodibana nje niyotshakelana nesupplier? Enkosi.
Enkosi. Honorable Chirwa.
Thank you so much, Slalo, and I apologize in advance if I'm going to take a bit of time. I'll try to just make it quick and fast.
Yeah, let's take into consideration that we need to reduce them.
Correct. The issues that are being brought forth in the briefing are very important. And I think the Deputy Minister of Public Works goes into detail on some of them. But I think the one that we are leaving to chance, which is particularly the most pivotal one in the issues that are being faced in infrastructure development, is crime. Number one, crime by government officials who pressurize and interfere in professional departments like procurement with intent to give their fellow comrades tenders in exchange for kickbacks. Number two, crime by professional staff who have created networks with suppliers in issuing and distributing tenders. The corruption is professionalized, and I think the Deputy Minister even says this about that. It's professionalized and even seeps through investigative measures when red flags are being raised, and the system is clearly fundamentally fallible. Number three, crime by tenderpreneurs who use money to bully their way through being granted tenders. Number four, crime by tenderpreneurs who sabotage infrastructure efforts and infrastructure development, terrorize professional staff in government, coercing them to issue tenders to their companies and threatening death, and in some cases go all the way in inflicting violence on government personnel. Number five, crime by politician tenderpreneurs who infiltrate politicians as politicians go up the ladder and infiltrate in government in pursuit of leadership positions and government titles for the purpose of influencing tender outcomes. Crime by politicians and tenderpreneurs that inflate prices when they intend to rob the public purse. This is why it's primarily criminal to win internal political power in an organization by using money from the private sector like we saw in 2017. The pledged loyalty goes to the industry bosses and not the people of South Africa. There has to be a real commitment to fighting the sophistication of crime in public infrastructure in South Africa. And the only way to do this, ministers and deputy minister, is by building state capacity and moving away from outsourcing primary functions of a department to tenderpreneurs and outsourcing, and you would have halved half of the crisis that's imminent in these departments. When you build state capacity, it isn't a threat to the private sector, as private sector is not threatened by government existing.
Don't make a speech.
It's not a speech.
Please try and round up, my dear.
But when crime, the fact that we're not addressing it with the adequate attention it deserves, and how it is a threat in all these departments, we primarily should be dealing with the issue of crime. And the only way to do that adequately is to do insourcing and build state capacity. And the ministers are not going into detail on how they plan about going this. That is what I'm trying to raise.
Enkosi. I'm now moving to Honorable Noah.
Thank you, Chair. All protocol observed. Chair, I will want to ask a cross-cutting question because this issue comes out of all the presentations that deals with abandoned projects, insolvent companies that were appointed. Now, I want to establish from all the departments whether is there an intention to come together to discuss this matter, because it can't be happening in the last administrations and we're getting into a new administration with the same problem, and there is no clear projection of exactly how do we want to handle this matter. It's just like we are accepting that there will be insolvent company and then we'll forget about it. We'll go and look for another money, look for another company. It's like it's a norm that we'll have to live with, which I think it is unacceptable. Secondly, those companies that will ultimately go insolvent after being appointed, how will they have been appointed? What is the method and system that departments apply to appoint them? what will have informed the department to appoint a company which will ultimately go insolvent? And when it is so abundant and a new company is appointed and another money is being budgeted, is there a plan, or does it happen that the money will be recovered from the company who will have shown that it has got an ability to deliver, but in the process it gets abandoned? It is what's really scary, what came out of the Department of Transport, of the projects that were abandoned. So that area, it's a cause for concern that government, I think it cannot be just left unattended to. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Noah. Honorable Mananiso.
Thank you, Chairperson. My question first is about lawlessness that has actually cost-cutted all this presentation. I want to check if it can be given to us as a written submission, that we get how many cases have been dealt with so far, including all the specific in terms of what Honorable Chirwa could have said, from those who are inside, outside, stakeholders, and everybody that is involved. Honorable Chairperson, my question again to the Minister, Barbara, in terms of slide 8. On the presentation, there's indication on the progress by PRASA and Transnet in terms of the rail, but there's a coding that it's read, of which it's not explained in terms of what does it stand for or what does it represent. So I want to check what does that read means. And lastly, the issue of the slide 18 overall of road networks. I think we need specific details per province, metros, district, and localities, so that as we do our work, we are able to do oversight on those specific areas based on our constituencies. Thank you.